Everybody's favorite playable Void Hunter is back, and I will be honest, not much has changed since last time. Except for her best team, which is undoubtedly Mono Frost. So this updated guide on Miyabi will be shorter, well, due to not many changes, but let's talk about her kit and how she plays, her best weapons, disk drives and disk drive sets, her combos, her main and substats, her teams and Mindscapes, and lastly, let's also talk about her pros and cons. Welcome, I am Rivenous and this is your complete updated in-depth guide to Hoshimi Miyabi. Miyabi is a Frost-type crit DPS disguised as an anomaly DPS, and she is still the strongest DPS in the game. Even if other characters can at least come close to her damage output, the simplicity of her gameplay makes basically every content in the game a breeze. So let's cover her kit and what the Frost anomaly actually is. Miyabi is really simple to play, so let's make her kit overview simple as well. Miyabi deals frost damage, and frost damage is a subtype of ice. This essentially means she scales with ice damage related modifiers, and triggering the frost anomaly will also inflict freeze, and that freeze can trigger shatter in turn as well. Frost can however disorder with ice, and that is honestly all you need to know. These subtypes are not new to the game by now after all. Miyabi features a 5-part basic attack string dealing frost damage, and her basic 4 and 5 have actually an insane amount of iframes, which makes dodging just much less necessary and hence relevant. That also means we will skip her dodge, dodge counter, dash attack, chain, quick assist and assist follow-up because they all do what you expect them to do. Instead, let's talk about her 2 EX specials. Both of them cost 40 energy, and her second EX special can only be used as a direct follow-up to her first EX special. And while the second EX special has higher multipliers, both of them will grant Miyabi 2 stacks of Falling Frost, which frankly is just much more important than slightly higher MV, so we will rarely use it. But if you can, go for it. And if you just ask yourself, okay, but Riv, what is Falling Frost? Good question. Falling Frost is Miyabi's unique resource, and as per usual you can find it below her HP bar. Falling Frost can stack up to 6 times, with any of her EX specials granting her 2 stacks and her ultimate giving her 3. Furthermore, triggering Frostburn Break will give 1 additional stack as well. More on that in just a bit. If she has 6 stacks, we can hold her basic attack pressed to cast her enhanced basic attack Shimotsuki, and she will then consume all stacks of Falling Frost to unleash a large AoE attack with multipliers higher than most characters' ultimates. Technically, this attack has 3 stages, and she will cast a different version depending on whether or not she consumed 2, 4 or 6 stacks during the charge. But frankly, the level 3 charged basic attack is just so strong, we never really want to use any other level. Lastly, as for her core passives, Miyabi's Frost build up is increased up to 100%, capping out at 80% crit rate. That also means we want to get as close to 80% crit rate on her as possible, but to be fair, we kinda want that on basically any crit DPS anyway, so this is more of a bonus rather than a Miyabi specific requirement. When Miyabi inflicts frost damage, she applies a debuff onto enemies called Ice Fire, and applying Frostbite on enemies affected by this debuff will then trigger the aforementioned Frostburn Break. Frostburn Break deals an instance of frost damage equal to 1500% of her attack, as well as granting her 1 stack of Falling Frost. As most people are actually either not aware or probably simply forgot, Frostbite is a 10-second long debuff applied when an enemy is frozen, and it increases the crit damage of attacks against that target by 10%. So essentially, whenever we freeze an enemy with Miyabi, we will gain 1 stack of Falling Frost and triggering an additional damage instance of Frostburn Break. This however can only trigger once every 10 seconds at most. Furthermore, after triggering Frostburn Break, enemies will be afflicted with the Frostburn state, which increases all anomaly build up by 20% and simply prevents Frostburn Break from triggering again. This state lasts while the enemy is affected by Frostbite. Lastly, if paired with any support or agent of the same faction, her enhanced basic attack gains a 60% damage bonus and 30% ice resistance threat, and whenever any squad member triggers Disorder, she gains 2 additional stacks of Falling Frost. So much for her kit, so let's summarize on how she plays actually in practice. We accumulate 6 stacks of Falling Frost by using her EX special, ultimate, Frostburn Break or triggering disorders. At 6 stacks, we then hold her basic attack button pressed until all charges of Falling Frost are consumed, and when she starts swirling around, we swap her out to another teammate because her animation is honestly very long. If we don't have anything else to do, we then can use her basic attacks to build up Frost Anomaly and inflict just a bit more damage. And honestly, that's about it. She is really easy to play and frankly just does a shitload of damage. As for her skill priority, because most of her damage is allocated in her enhanced basic attack and ultimate, we want to prioritize leveling her talents as such. Focus on her core skill, basics and chain first and foremost, then her EX special, and lastly assist and dodge. I would recommend getting both her basic attacks and chain up to level 11, and if you can and have the hamster cages for it, even 12. Miyabi's actual combos and gameplay are very dependent on the team you play her in, and unless you play her in Mono Frost, it mostly boils down to accumulate 6 Falling Frost by any means, then cast her enhanced basic attack level 3. Frankly, my skill issues are too prevalent to actually play Mono Frost efficiently, which also means I will redirect you to these 2 YouTubers you see on screen right now. If you are interested in playing this team, go check them out, you'll find a link to their channels in the description. Let's cover how her skills are linked. Her basic 5, special and dash attack connect into her basic 2, and her ultimate, enhanced basic attacks, EX special and EX special follow-up all connect into basic 3. Lastly, her quick assist and dodge counter connect directly into her basic 4. This is probably her most important connection, as regardless of whether or not you are playing her with Astra or even Yuzuha, you will likely quick assist into her, and given her long iframes on her basic 4 and 5, that means you don't actually really need to dodge. One exception here applies when paired with Yuzuha and Vivian, as you want to funnel Yuzuha's quick assists to Vivian instead. As for a simplified stun rotation, we are optimally looking to play with manual chain, and I would honestly generally recommend that regardless. Anyway, we begin the stun window with her enhanced basic attack level 3 right when the stun window starts, then switch her out to another teammate and trigger the chain. Now we do a full chain on our other teammates and make sure to end the chain on Miyabi to not interrupt her enhanced basic we just casted before. Now we use her ultimate and 1 EX special, and that should be enough to always trigger a freeze and hence Frostbite and Frostburn, which leaves us at yet again 6 stacks. Which also in turn means we can now finish the stun window with a second enhanced basic attack level 3. This stun rotation is teamless and will always work regardless of your team, but it is also not her optimal rotation for every team, so please keep that in mind. By now, likely everyone is very aware of how good her signature is. Not only is it a Void Hunter weapon and hence features a massive 743 base attack instead of the usual 713 for signatures, it also provides her the necessary crit stats she needs. Fusion Compiler is her second best choice by quite a large margin, but does require you to maintain its stacks, and the Battle Pass weapon Electro Lip Gloss comes in third place. Please note that these calculations are for her own damage only. Within a team context, this looks less bad overall. However, that also means her signature is a raw 10 to 15% team damage increase, which to be fair is just a fuck ton. On the other hand, Miyabi already does so much damage by herself that using any other weapon on her is not really the end of the world. You can still clear Shiyu and Deadly Assault just fine without her signature. A 4-piece Branch and Blade Song is her best in slot, and I would not recommend any other 4-piece for her. While a 4-piece Woodpecker can, at least in theory, at 3 stacks be relatively even up, maintaining said 3 stacks is not necessarily easy and also not realistic during the enemy stun window, which is where a large portion of her damage is allocated at. As for the two-piece, either a two-piece Woodpecker, Polar Metal, Astral Voice or Freedom Blues can do their job, and so does a Puffer Electro. Usually just take whatever has better substats, but it should be noted that a two-piece Woodpecker helps massively with crit rate, which is just simply very good, especially so given her 80% crit rate breakpoint from her core passive. As for her main stats, attack percent, crit rate or crit damage in slot 4, pen ratio in slot 5 and attack percent in slot 6 are her best choices. Anomaly Mastery is another fine choice on Miyabi, especially when paired with Vivian, but it is worse with Yanagi. Depending on your crit rate substat rolls, crit rate in slot 4 can win out, but if you have got like crit rate substats, going for either attack percent or crit damage is the better choice. As per usual, substats matter and hence choose whatever has better substats. And speaking of which, as for her substats, focus on crit values first and foremost, then attack percent, anomaly proficiency, and lastly flat pen and flat attack. Let's cover her Mindscapes. Miyabi's Mindscapes are great, and even more so her M1 and M2. Her Mindscape 1 provides a massive 36% death threat on her enhanced basic 3, as well as a 20% anomaly build-up rate to the team. Her Mindscape 2 not only helps you in terms of ease of build with a massive 15% crit rate, but also has you start off combat with 6 instead of 3 stacks of Fallen Frost, which allows for an immediate enhanced basic attack. It also increases basic attack and dodge counter damage by 30%, and more importantly, your basic 5 now generates 1 point of Fallen Frost as well. Depending on how you play, this can result in an easy additional 4 or even 5 enhanced basic attacks, which is massive. A very good Mindscape. Her M3, M4 and M5 exist, and as for her M6, whenever you cast her enhanced basic level 3, you will now also in addition cast her enhanced basic level 1 and 2 for free. On top of that, the skill also gains a 30% damage bonus. Please keep in mind these calculations are team calculations. This means her M6 increases the entire team damage by 26%, not just her damage. While her M2 and M6 are very strong, I would recommend getting her signature over her M1 and M2. Miyabi has a lot of great teams, with Mono Eyes being the most prominent one, and with the release of Yuzua, she got further access to yet another great support. Especially when paired with Sokaku or Lycaon, Yuzua can help build up Ice Anomaly for further freezes during the stun window, which extends the stun duration. While Mono Ice remains the hardest team to play in the game, it also has the highest possible potential. Regardless, Miyabi also pairs really well with Yanagi, where Yanagi can now feed disorders to Miyabi for more enhanced basic attacks. Vivian works very well as well, but becomes stronger at M2 Miyabi, as Miyabi can now solo sustain her Fallen Frost generation, which helps in making use of the additional field time she gets. While Lighter provides very strong buffs for Miyabi, at least in theory, as of right now, this team only works with Lucy in the 3rd slot, as we would otherwise miss out on either Miyabi's or Lighter's additional core passive. The wheelchair comp of Nicole and Astra works well as well, and Nicole's death threat stacks nicely with the death threat provided by Miyabi's M1. If you are a new player, Miyabi, Piper and Nicole or Lucy will do their job just fine. Lastly, let's talk about her pros and cons. Miyabi remains the strongest DPS in the game. While other DPS such as Evelyn or Yijuan can come close, Miyabi is much easier to play and has very free-to-play friendly teams, which allow her to reach an insanely high potential. Unfortunately, she kinda wants her signature weapon, as it is a significant increase in damage, while also making her much easier to play. She has a great selection of teams and can clear nearly every content in the game effortlessly for maximum rewards. And with that, we are at the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment on whether or not you are pulling Miyabi, and join the Discord. Special thanks to my Patreon members who make this content possible. I appreciate all of you and wish you a great day. Peace.